Welcome, salute. How's everybody doing? Salute. The streets are buzzing. CT and EJ with you to break down the Knicks' big win. First win of the season. It feels good. Took care of home. EJ, how are we doing?
Doing great, my man. CT. Long day, but listen, if the Knicks win, you get a little bit more energy. That meal that you're eating, that burger tastes a little bit better. That drink that you have, whatever's in your cup, it tastes a lot better. I'm gonna sleep so well tonight because of this win. So it's really good to be on the program. It's really good to be on the podcast, but it's also fantastic to enjoy a solid Knicks win tonight.
Yep, absolutely. Salute to everyone that was in the building. Salute to the chat. Yep, it feels good to get off the board. Obviously, it was the heartbreaker classic that the Knicks lost in Memphis, and it feels good to get our first win of the season. We expected to take care of business, and the Knicks took care of business tonight. EJ, chat, just a feel good win. The Big 15 took care of business. What was the big takeaways from you tonight?
If we're talking about tonight, and maybe this is also true for last night, first game as well on Wednesday night, the Knicks showed up. The Knicks showed up for the majority of both games, and that to me is something that was a really huge takeaway. And what I mean by showing up is you showed up, you basically blew out for the most part. There were some moments where it was difficult, but you showed up and you blew out a Detroit Pistons team that's really young, that's really inexperienced, that is largely playing for a few seasons from now, not even next season, but playing for the draft and playing for a few seasons from now. You took care of business, and that to me is a major, major step forward. Again, we're not talking championship, but we're talking about doing the right things to be a solid, consistent team. Likewise, showing up on Wednesday. I don't know how many people predicted the Knicks would even be in the ball game Wednesday night, but the
Mhm.
fact that they showed up, they were competitive. They were able to take a really, really, really good Memphis Grizzlies team, not only to overtime, but to really come back and make it a really competitive game and have a shot to win in Memphis. So they showed up both Wednesday night and tonight. And to me, that's the major win. So I'm really happy. I'm really excited. My breakfast is going to taste awesome tomorrow because this is a good start. This is a really good start. So sleep is going to be good, and breakfast is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, you said it, right? There's plenty of Knicks will give their flowers to tonight, and some of them
Absolutely.
were consistent from the Memphis game, like you said. And we're going to give out some grades as well. We'll look at the box score. Yeah,
Yeah.
great take. EJ, consistency. We want to see that this season. And certainly the starters have looked again very good
Hmm.
for the second straight game. Um, Julius Randle, we'll start with him. 15 points,
Hmm.
5 rebounds, um, 2 of 3 from 3 point land, 5 of 12 from the field. Julius Randle playing under control, um,
Absolutely.
and with his minutes down as well. What are you seeing from Julius?
I think one of the things that I paid attention to a few things tonight, especially because it was the home opener. One of the things I wanted to really see at first, and I'm sure we're going to talk about this a little bit later, is how is Julius going to look visibly when we have player introductions? What was going to be his affect? What was going to be his vibe? What was he going to look like? And even like a little bit less about Julius, but how was the Garden crowd going to receive Julius? I
Mm.
was paying very close. I got up from my couch. I went to the television. I put my ear to the television just to make sure I heard exactly what was happening to hear the Garden reception of Julius. And even the order in terms of how the roster was announced, a lot of that to me is telling in terms of how a relationship's going so early on in the season. And my
Yep.
big takeaway in terms of Julius's performance is that the vibe seems much better so far than what it did last season. Obviously, there are 80 games left. Hopefully, some more after that. But my takeaway from Julius is that the vibe seems on. The vibe seems good. It seems healthy. He seems happier than at any point last season. So, if he's scoring 15 points and he's smiling at the end of the game, he's dapping up, our boy Alec Burks. He has his shirt off. And that was, by the way, Julius, we all know that was a little bit of a flex to have the shirt off by the end of the game. Don't try to show me up. All right. But it was really it was really good to see Julius just really under control, and happy. That was awesome. What do you think, CT?
Yeah, completely agree with what you said. Playing like a man that obviously wants to, redeem himself. Obviously, we know what happened last year, and the chats, hitting on all cylinders as well. Like Randall, he's playing like he wants to be an all-star,
Hmm.
says Luke. Um, and big task. Randall doesn't have to be that ball handler anymore as well. So he's relieved of like that sort of burden to score the Knicks to a victory and to also handle the rock as much as he had to. I mean, we're going to hit on Jalen Brunson, but yeah,
Absolutely.
the trickle effect from him to Randall is just absolutely obvious to see.
Absolutely. And listen, we've talked about this all summer, every show that we did
Mm.
together, even when we were chatting offline. Um, Julius, eh, eh, Julius being happy and in a healthy state of mind. One of the things that we can take away is that leads to a happier and healthier locker room. That leads to a happier, healthier feeling and tenor in the locker room. And what was really good is that you could see Knicks players laughing and smiling across the board throughout the for most of the game. And that's really what you want. You want a team that likes
Yeah,
playing with one another, and the tenor is often set by your highest paid players and your best players. So Julius, with a huge smile on his face, cracking jokes during the middle of the game, feeling like he doesn't have to force shots, he doesn't have to force all the action, the burden isn't on him. That made me feel good, and hopefully this isn't a continuation of last season, not just for Julius, but for Knicks fans as well. I don't necessarily want to have every podcast be about Julius and his demeanor, Julius and his psyche. I'm not paid to be his therapist, or his therapist from a distance. None of us are, but like if he's happy, if he's cracking smiles, that means that good things are happening.
yeah, no doubt. Yeah, absolutely. Like you hit with that, and we'll look at the box score for Julius's full stat line, but he was
Yeah.
a -1, which was interesting. 15 points, 6
Hmm.
rebounds. Yeah, like we said, 2 of 3 from 3-point land. We
Hmm.
know the biggest success Randall had was the 3-point shooting, but shooting less volume can help him get that percentage back up because he's getting better looks,
Oh yeah.
fam.
Oh yeah. And and obviously that lends itself to the conversation about who number 11, firstly
Mm,
signing off that huge contract. But the idea, I think one of the things that if we were to go back to last season's conversation, and we talked a lot about it, one of the things that really hampered the Knicks offense was the fact that you had Julius setting up the team, you had Julius setting up the offense, you had Alec Burks setting up the offense for the majority of the season. And it's not a slight to them. It's not a knock of them. It's not their foremost talent. It's not what they do best. How many times do we see Julius do the jump up in the air? I'm going to pass it. Oh gosh, I don't know when I'm going to about to land. I don't know where to send this ball, and it would lead to a turnover. Um, because the ball is in his hands less, his role becomes more concentrated. He's able to focus and really, really, really have a narrow scope to which to excel. So if you're telling me like, I have less to do, that less that I have to do, I'm now going to do better. And it'll make me happier because you know what? There'll be less pressure on me. I'll have more room to shine and to excel. And New York will be happier with me. And I do think that Julius at times has enjoyed his stay here in New York, and he wants to excel here in New York as well. So, yeah, I mean, I'm happy that he has a stat line that's really solid.
yep. And I think winning, obviously, we always say winning cures all. But if the
Absolutely.
Knicks start putting together performances like this, everyone's just going to feel good in a groove, know their role as well. And the
Absolutely.
bench looked far more
Oh
comfortable
yeah.
tonight, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
really
Oh
good.
yeah.
So yeah, I'll give a grade for Randall, and I'll get yours,
Hmm.
Julius Randall. For me, got to give him a another. I'll give him a B plus tonight. I gave
Hmm.
him an A against Memphis, but tonight B plus. yeah, he didn't shoot as efficiently from the field. But yeah, B plus could be an A. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, you know what is when I was thinking about the grades and I saw your grades from the first game, I would say the B plus A minus range as well.
Mm,
When you have a blowout game, you know, I'll inflate it a little bit more because it's less for you to do. But really solid game from Julius, and yeah, I'd say B plus A minus. Not much more to say about that.
yep, yep, definitely. Yeah. Look for this kind of Julius. If this continues, EJ, I'm not really ready to hear any about trade talks at the moment. Um, for now, let's
Yeah.
just see what happens. What are your thoughts on that? Just see what happens.
Last time we were on with Berman, I talked about how if Jalen Brunson has a really solid season, it also means by default that's probably likely going to improve Julius's season and raise his stock. My bold prediction from the last podcast that we did was that Julius is not going to end the season with the Knicks. It doesn't necessarily mean I want him to be traded, but what
Yeah,
I do want for his value to increase. So if he has efficient stat lines, if he has nights where the Knicks are winning and he's a seamless part of the Knicks winning, then what I ultimately want is for there to be a lot more options with Julius. At this point, we
mm,
can't trade him, but if he has solid performance after solid performance, not necessarily being the top scorer, not necessarily being the top rebounder, but a happy Julius who seems like he can fit in multiple situations, that's what I want because it gives us more options either at the trade deadline or either at the end of the season where more opportunities might unfold. So, do I want to trade him? Not necessarily, but I want to have the option of trading him if a better opportunity arises for either him or for
yeah,
us. So that's
yeah,
how I feel about it.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah, couldn't agree more, fam. I think, yeah, if a trade makes sense, I think the
Yeah.
front office would certainly consider it, and it's going to be a season to watch. Coming into the trade deadline, if Randall's playing like this. But yeah, it's better for the Knicks no matter what. If he's balling
Hmm.
versus more opportunities come up, then yeah, that's gravy. And
Yeah,
Jalen
absolutely.
Brunson in the
Yeah.
chat, yeah, give us your grades for Randall as well. So we're given a B plus for Randall and Jalen Brunson. Basically the first point guard with Knicks point guard with 15 assists and 0 turnovers in his
Yeah.
first two appearances. Um, 17 points tonight, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, 6 of 11. Took control when it looked like Detroit was sort of trying to find their way back in the game. Um,
Hmm.
he's just a winner so far from what I'm seeing. This pickup is just delivering in spades.
Yeah, dude. Um, I, I'm gonna say something that I said like the last podcast, and it's something that I was just thinking of, and I didn't realize how much I really believed it at the time. But the Donovan Mitchell saga really overshadowed how big it was for the Knicks, the Jalen Brunson signing was. And I'm trying to qualify that.
Mm,
Jalen Brunson signing on other teams, it may have been as big of a difference. Like say, for example, if, he signed with the Heat. The reason why I'm saying that is because other teams have had periodically steady point guard play. Our team has not had steady point guard play in almost 2 decades. And
say that
so
again.
dude, for almost 2 decades, 20 years, there are Knicks fans watching this podcast right now who've never seen steady point guard play. They've seen a new point guard
Mm,
lead the offense every single season, the entirety of their lives. So the Jalen Brunson signing was a huge signing that unfortunately got overshadowed by the Donovan Mitchell saga, but actually ends up being a good thing because it's like that $20 bill that you find in your pocket and you didn't realize that it was in there. Like you going into your closet and like you put in the pants and then like oh snap, I have extra $20 and I didn't know it was in here. It's not a surprise, but it's so good to have that, to have someone who's competent, who knows what they're doing. And CT, like my favorite part of the night when watching the pregame on MSG was when he declared, I'm a leader. So Rebecca Harlow asked, like, tell me about yourself, and Jalen Brunson said, "I'm a leader."
Mm.
That's
Yep.
powerful for your point guard to walk into a room and say, "I'm a natural leader." So he won me at that moment, and I was like, "All right, I feel confident, and I'm happy that even though we didn't get Donovan Mitchell, we still ended up with a competent, serviceable, leading natural point guard, and
Yeah.
he's
He's
proven it."
won it. Yeah.
Yeah,
The contract looks good. He's winning at all levels. He's young still. Um, he's just a perfect fit for New York. I think having his dad
absolutely.
here as well, so salute to that signing, you know. Obviously we're only 2 games in, but preseason and these 2 games, yeah, we're not looking at a dude that's like lighting people up or,
Hmm.
winning on athleticism. So there's no fluke element to this. It's just a winning player that has an impact on winning every time they're on the court and in multiple ways with the shooting, passing,
Hmm.
being a leader, like the chat's been on point with, it's like Julius is deferring to a guy, a leader now. Julius isn't that vocal leader. D Rose was never that vocal leader. Jalen Brunson is that role right now for this team.
And you could add like another 20 million, $30 million for that kind of player in New York City
Yeah.
to say, "I'm going to be the right kind of leader for the right kind of team in this city." Again, it's not a knock against Julius. It's not. Some people want to be a leader, but they're not equipped with the attitude. They're not equipped with the calm nature. They're not equipped with the wisdom to be a leader. They might want to be it, but those other things, those other intangibles, you just have to have it. And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to be on the level of Michael Jordan or Zion Williamson or Steph Curry to always lead. But sometimes you just need a steady, solid ball player who just commands the room, commands and authorizes and has the authority to just determine, all right, this is going to be the character and tenor of this team. Everyone else get behind
Mm.
me, watch what I do. And he has that. That's so clear. It's so evident. And I think people have underrated how important that's going to be for this team for the foreseeable future, not just the season, but for the foreseeable future.
Yeah, definitely. You hit that word underrated. Um,
Yeah.
a lot of people in Dallas sort of knew. Like I knew there was a lot of Dallas media high on the Knicks acquisition. Saying, he's going to be a lot for Dallas to have to try to, make up for.
Hmm.
And they saw it firsthand. But a lot of the rest of the league, I felt like was just like, oh, okay, the Knicks got a point guard, so that's what they needed to do. He's not really going to move the needle too much.
Yeah.
But I disagree. One piece that fits into a jigsaw puzzle can complete the puzzle. So
Exactly.
it's like
Exactly.
that's what he's doing now. Salute to him. That remarkable stat, like we said again, no 0 turnovers
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
15 assists. Steady floor general, stand up. Nick Spurs, stand up. Chat.
Yeah. And bro, like the other thing too is I think that um in the league, the reason why he's underrated, and I think that this is something that we as Knicks fans we have to remember. Um, the league is a phenomenal social media league. The league is a social media league where it's about what clip can you get on the highlight reel that will make people get clicks and this league is perfect for social media. So Jalen Brunson is not going to shoot threes like Steph. You know, Jalen Brunson is not going to get up. He doesn't have like hops like a Ja Morant. And sometimes the league
Yeah.
becomes a little bit too impassioned with the TikTok, the Instagram 10-second highlight reel, not understanding that some teams don't need a step. And I'm saying this carefully. They don't need a step to improve. Jalen
Yep.
Brunson, not flashy. He has that. I'm playing at a speed that is gonna age well. Number one, a skill set that will age well, but it's also going to make this particular roster better. It's not going to be flashy, but it's going to improve the team.
Yeah. It's like he doesn't look the part, but he is the part. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
With this situation. So yeah, Jalen Brunson, another A for me
Absolutely.
tonight.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Yeah.
here's something too, like, he has some dog in him, that
Yes.
that willingness to take a charge, and he's already looks like, I'm willing to get on this ground. Like, CT, how many times were the Knicks on the ground tonight? Like,
Oh,
almost every player was like trying to take a charge or like hustling hard to get rebounds. Like, and there were times last season you could see that that wasn't necessarily the ethos, that wasn't necessarily the ethic of the team. This game, you're winning, for the most part, a comfortable lead, except for the third quarter. You're seeing Hartenstein on the ground. You're seeing Mitch on the ground. You're seeing Jalen with, like, how many, like, taking a charge attempts. That to me is character. And like I'm seeing on the chat, we don't even have Grimes playing yet, but that kind of dog, it teaches and it inspires. And I really am high up on the Jalen Brunson sign so far. Obviously, it's going to take some time, but I'm really, really happy with it.
yep.
So an A
No,
from me, an
absolutely.
A from me.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. That's two A's. And he hasn't even really been the team's leading scorer or done anything
Hmm.
crazy to me. And that
Hmm.
hits with this point Dirty Dancer made, which is on point. A part of me feels like Brunson isn't even playing up to par, but he is
Hmm.
so much better than anything we've had in forever. um,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, yeah. With that said, we're going to see even better Brunson. I feel like he's a big game player. Western Conference Finals chat. EJ, remember he balled out against Utah for Dallas. Well, I can't wait. I know we pummeled Detroit tonight, but
Hmm.
part of me feels like I just can't wait for a big test, like those big battles against Brooklyn, those big
Hmm.
battles against Philly, Miami.
Yeah,
You mentioned the grittiness of this team on the floor, diving for loose balls. The Garden is going to be insane this season.
yeah. And dude, I think the other thing is too is that I'm already salivating. Actually, that was just literally. Um, um, and I would say that we have to be patient. We have to give it about 20 games, because you can see, 4 games in a preseason, that's really nothing, man.
Yeah,
That's nothing. I would say, like, we
that
have to give it 15, 20 games for us to see even more cohesion in terms of people knowing. Like, I mean, think about it. Mitch is the most tenured Nick on the roster. When has he actually played? With the exception of D Rose, but D Rose is often injured and they're often not in the same rotation. Um, how often has Mitch played with a real lead point guard?
zero. It's been a revolving door.
It's been a revolving door. It's like, like we're at like some sort of fancy hotel. So it's going to take some time for us to see his
Yep.
teammates really appreciate what it means to have a solid, durable, responsible point guard. And so I think we'll even see incremental improvements 20 games from now, when because
Yep.
Mitch has been really aggressive, saying, "Okay, I'm going to set up down low. I want some touches." But that takes some practice. That takes some coordination. That takes some time. So I think we are going to see a better Jalen Brunson as his teammates better understand what it means to have a real one point guard on the floor. So yeah, I'm waiting for, like, when we get to December, what the team's going to look like, what the squad's going to look like. So yeah,
Mm.
definitely an A,
Yep.
definitely an A.
Yep. And in terms of the way we played hard at home, we mentioned how the challenge to be a great home team this season is going to be key to the Knicks' success.
Hmm.
Whether we can make the playoffs, play in, winning these games at home is going to be critical. We have was it 2 more games in a row at home, I think, before
Hmm.
we go on the road again. So yeah, so that's key. And now let's hit on RJ Barrett's bounce back performance tonight. EJ, 18 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, shot 8 of 15 from the
Yeah.
field tonight. RJ Barrett, I wasn't worried after opening night. He bounced back.
Yeah, part of it too is, like, there was also a very big difference. And I think, we didn't get a chance to talk after the first game, but
Mm,
there's a difference in terms of what RJ was asked to do on the defensive end tonight versus what he was asked to do on Wednesday. And we cannot underestimate that level of growth that still is happening with RJ. learning how to conserve or use energy on both sides of the ball. And he's also trying to learn that while also working with a point guard, a new point guard.
Yep.
Ball is going to be out of his hands a little bit less and trying to figure out, okay, how do I work efficiently on both sides of the court tonight in terms of like, he wasn't guarding a John Morant tonight. So that allowed him perhaps him to work more efficiently on the offensive end, to be more efficient in terms of his touches, his shots, what he did, and to be even in more control. Because I think, there's a part of RJ that I think wants to get into rhythm very early, but there is a pressure to try to get into rhythm early when you also know you have to expend a lot of energy defending the John Morants of the league or the Jason Tatums of the league. That's a very difficult task for certain players. So tonight, I love the fact that he rose to the challenge of not having to guard someone of that ilk, that status, and making sure that he was really focused on the offensive end.
Yeah, I completely agree. Yeah, RJ Barrett this season, he's going to get into a groove, I feel like, where he's just going to string together so many consistent games
Hmm.
because of Brunson's impact.
Hmm.
RJ, Randall taking away pressure on the offensive end. And I think the product of the first game, he just didn't shoot well. He
Hmm.
got a lot of great looks. He got a lot of excellent looks. They weren't going down, and he's gonna get that rust off. It was an opening night game on the road as well against a player where he had a lot to prove. A team where they drafted Ja at 2, RJ at the 3. We know the history behind that. So yeah,
Yeah.
RJ Barrett, excellent game tonight. Bounce back performance as well. I'll give him a B plus tonight.
Same right here. Same B plus. I think it was an inspired performance. Like I mean, you can even see like in closing minutes when Tibbs puts him back in with about 2 minutes or 3 minutes left in the game. You can even see that desire to be all right. I want to take smart shots. I don't want to necessarily take bad shots. I want to really be efficient in what I'm doing. So when that
Mm.
RJ shows up, I'm very happy. B plus.
Yep, absolutely, yeah, efficient as well, that's what you wanna see.
Hmm.
Beautiful. Um, let's also talk about, Mitchell Robinson. Well, been very consistent. Well, preseason and tonight, wasn't consistent in Memphis, but another bounce back performance tonight, EJ, and I'll bring up the box score for everyone to see for that one, but Mitchell Robinson, yeah, in just 23 minutes, so we kept the minutes down with this
Yeah.
blowout, which is great.
Yeah.
3 of 3 from the field, 2 of 4 from the line, 4 offensive rebounds. What else is new? +5, 8 points. Well, what did you see from Mitch?
Mitch has come out with an energy this season where I think they even mentioned it during the broadcast, where he
Mhm.
wants to now make his mark on the league. He wants to be in consideration and conversations where he's getting recognized, not just in local media, not just in local press, but he wants to be
Mhm.
part of the national conversation and be recognized for his defense. He's been that offensive glass. You can see it. You can see his energy. You can see how much he's pushing. He's pushing to get offensive boards. I do think that there are a few concerns that I saw. The fouling, and I think that was actually a team wide issue tonight where there were a lot of silly fouls. I also think at the same time, the refs haven't been too kind to the team the first two games. There have been some questionable calls. I'm sure we'll get a chance to talk about that John Morant goaltending cost that I don't know how people miss that.
Yep.
But in terms of Mitch, with the exception of the fouls, with the exception of that foul shooting, which still is a little bit scary at times, it was a solid performance. I like the fact that he's posting up. I just hope that there's more of a rhythm to get him more involved in the offense, to
Yep.
spread open the floor a little bit. But that's not necessarily Mitch's doing. He's actually trying to get open in the post. But again, solid effort. I love the fact that his energy is dedicating towards defense, and he wants to be in the defensive player of the year conversation. So job well done, Mitch, tonight.
Yeah. The fouls are gonna be something that, he's made improvements with, but we need to see that consistently.
Hmm.
He's making a better effort to go up vertically as
Hmm.
well, but he does have a tendency to put his hands out a bit.
Yeah.
Um, yep. silence the noise about, there was a bit of a story heading in with Jalen Duran tonight.
Mhm.
The Knicks obviously passed on him, gave a lot of money to Mitchell Robinson tonight, but yeah, Duran didn't have a good night tonight. Mitch had a solid night. I wouldn't say a great night, but it was solid as well. I'll give Mitch a B tonight.
We're in lockstep. We're in lockstep. I would say it's a B as well too. Again, as I mentioned earlier, I think the major concerns were we don't want Mitch to really get into foul trouble as much as he has been. Making sure to stay on the court as much as possible, to avoiding fouling. And like again, um,
Yeah.
that the offensive rebounds. I mean, it's been incredible in terms of the amount of energy he's been putting on the boards.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll hit on the last starter, Evan Fournier, and then I know you've got a EJ, you've got to have an earlier night. So I appreciate you rocking with us tonight in the
Absolutely,
chat.
absolutely.
Appreciate you, all your knowledge and the buzz coming through. Salute, the streets are buzzing. Smash that like button, and we'll give our last grade to the starter, Evan Fournier. Been solid. We know the issue with the Quentin Grimes injury. Well, Cam Reddish and Fournier are getting a great chance. But Evan tonight, just 20 minutes, 3 of 8, 2 of 5 from the 3-point land, was 2 assists as well. Had a few nice plays where he distributed. 4 personal fouls, -1, 8 points. What did you see? What have you seen from Evan Fournier so far? And to me, he's clearly the starting 2 still. I don't think that's going to change.
Yeah, I think that this is Evan's performance. It's almost impossible to look at Evan's performance in isolation. Like, we can talk about Jalen Brunson and talk about like how steady he is, how solid he's been, how he's contributed to what seems to be a happier Julius Randle. Evan is someone you almost have to evaluate in relationship to Cam and in relationship to Q Grimes. And
Yep.
because Grimes is unavailable, and because prior to the start of the season, I mean, last time we were on, we that Cam Reddish that we saw in the preseason, who looked like he was playing JV basketball, versus the Cam Reddish that we've seen the first 2 games of the season, really, and really also too, like the first game of the season against Memphis. Like Memphis, it was like a totally different person. Um, it's kind of colored how I see Evan Fournier, and tonight his performance tonight. Um, you would want him to be a little bit hotter. I mean, there've been some good solid play, but of the 5 starters, he seems to be the least um, impressive right now, at least for me. Um, and I guess like it's also partly because they're still trying to figure out getting people in the proper positioning. I will say that there were times that where Evan was open and
Yep.
people missed him, and that's not necessarily a function. That's not his fault. But I think that roles are somewhat changing, and maybe he needs to cut more. Maybe there needs to be a little bit more back rolls. Maybe there needs to be more of a conversation of like how to identify when he's open. I feel good when he gets the ball and he's shooting an open shot. But I would say of the starters, he was the one with which I was least impressed tonight. Yeah. So what do you think?
Yeah, I think what we're seeing from Evan is no doubt a reduced role. Um,
Hmm.
the usage rate of Brunson, Randall, and RJ by default is going to reduce the usage of that fourth guard. The shooting guard situation. But Fournier is that kind of guy that doesn't need a lot of usage to still be effective on offense.
Hmm.
Catch and shoot opportunities. He could be deadly still. Um, we're seeing a far more reduction in shots. I don't think Fournier's ever had this little amount of shots in his career
Hmm.
so far in the preseason and the 2 games to date. He usually averages about 7, 8 3-pointers a game. I was looking at his career stats, and he's just not getting that amount of 3-point attempts at the moment so far. But with Mitch, we hope that Mitch will get more touches. I think just by default, Evan's going to get less touches on
Yeah.
offense. Defensively, he's been solid. I've been, I've, you know, nothing that we haven't seen from Evan. He's a guy that will give you effort. His physical and athletic shortcomings don't allow him to be a great defender, but effort is there. He's hanging on to his spot as well. Just 2 games in, there's definitely going to be that Evan Fournier game where we
Yeah,
see 5 of 5 from 3 or something.
but
But
against
I can't.
Boston,
Yeah.
against
Oh,
Boston, definitely.
yeah. But yeah, Keith hits on as well. He's playing better defense than RJ.
Yeah,
Keith says so. Yeah, Evan. Yeah, give him his flowers.
yeah.
He's playing solid, playing hard on the defensive end. And tonight I'll give him a C plus.
It's funny because I'm actually going to give him a B minus.
Okay.
Um, yeah,
Yep.
I do think that I think there is a role for Evan Fournier on this team. I think there's definitely a role for him, and because we had conversations about him all throughout the offseason about like what's going to happen in terms of the wing position, what's going to happen in terms of shooting guard. Um, Obviously, he's the team's best shooter by far. But I
Yep.
do think that there is a lot of gelling that still has to happen. Like, I was disappointed. I remember 2 or 3 specific instances where Evan was standing in the corner or close to in the 3-point area, and he's like hands up, like, hey guys, and they're totally missed. But
Yep. I
I'm
saw that.
yeah, because we know that when Evan has that 4 for 5 or that 5 for 7 moment, that opens up the game for everyone else. It opens up the paint for Brunson to penetrate, for RJ to penetrate. So that's my big fear is I really want that lane to be opened up even more.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's getting drive. He's getting those drive opportunities. To your point. And he's a willing passer, a willing distributor, a willing team player as
Absolutely.
well. Is Evan Fournier. So yeah, fascinating the story so far after 2 games with Randall and Fournier, 2 of the dudes that a lot of fans most wanted out. Um, have been fairly solid. You know, fairly solid. Quentin Grimes, all the buzz.
Yeah.
He's not healthy at the moment, so I'm not. I'm excited for when Quentin Grimes returns, but he'll return as a roll off the bench. So far, Cam played okay. We'll hit on him. Or I'll hit on him later in the show. But yeah, Fournier and Julius solid. And
Yeah.
before you get out of here, just give us your overall thoughts. Anything you want to say leading into the next game, and just to get it out there.
Yeah. I mean, well, first off, everyone, please make sure to like, subscribe, smash that like button, share. Nick's Buzz, CT is awesome, and there's so much that he works on for the program. So please make sure that you hit that. I guess like the only thing I would want to just offer is like just 2 quick things, 2 or 3 quick things. One, um, Derrick Rose, his minutes Memphis versus his minutes tonight. Be interesting to figure out like why he didn't play that much against
Mm.
Memphis, because there's something about when he's leading the second unit, and we talked about this a week or so ago. He calms. He has a calming presence on the court. There's clarity in terms of role, and he just has the ability to orchestrate that offense. So like he had a great play with Hartenstein to set him up for an open 3 corner in the wing. To me, like you want Derrick Rose doing that. So I'm kind of surprised he didn't play that much against Memphis. Um, the second thing is, and you're going to talk about this, and I know the chat's going to have a lot to talk about this with, is the Cam Reddish. Um, Old song back in the day, early 90s, Eminem. Will the real Cam Reddish please stand up?
Oh,
So had to make the reference, So I this, Cam Reddish, whichever one he is, this changes a lot of the conversation. It changes a lot of this conversation. So um, Cam driving to the basket with Obi, that's scary. That's a lot of athleticism. That's athleticism we haven't seen in a long time on this team. And last but not least, before I head out of here, um, opening introductions were fascinating because I was actually waiting with popcorn, like, all right, who's going to be introduced last? Is it going to be RJ? Is it going to be Julius? And it was fascinating to see that Julius was still the last player introduced. So organizationally speaking, it's as if it was a statement to say, all right, we do have Jalen, we do have RJ, and you're going to see RJ speak a lot. He's going to be more and more the face, but that role still seems to be reserved for Julius. So that was very fascinating to me that he was the last one called.
Yeah, yeah, that did raise my eyebrow as well, fam. Um, I think that was, yeah, you have to think that they know what that was going to look
Hmm.
like, and they did that. Yeah, Julius looked good so far as well. Maybe they switch it up, and RJ is a dude that gets announced last in the next
Next
game.
game.
But it's for now, yeah, it's definitely a point worth mentioning. Like you said, Juju Randle came in shape. Tom Thibodeau is a big believer. Leon Rose is a big believer as well. Yeah, he he's part of this thing. For how long we don't know, but for now we're
Hmm.
getting a good Randle, so there's less headaches to worry about. And for me, the biggest thing is Jalen Brunson. That's
Yeah.
just the connector with this thing, not just because of the position he plays, but the the leadership and the respect that Julius has, of him, you know.
Yeah, definitely, definitely, and like and again, and I think that I don't think there are some I think Knicks content creators who love like the drama of like an unhappy Julius, or the possibility of trading Julius. I do know for both of us, like we both want him to do well because if he's doing well, it means the team is doing well. And we don't want the behind the scenes drama that sometimes we had to talk about last season. And the reason why we talked about it was because it was the reality of that particular season. But as a wise man says very often, every season has a mind of its own. So, I hope that this season's mind, Julius's mind, is one where he's happy, but he's also working efficiently and has no problem with playing a B role to a Jalen Brunson because that seems to be where he's best suited.
Yep. No, no, absolutely. Well, yeah, it's been a great opportunity to chop this thing up with you and give the starters the
Of course.
grades as well. Thanks for stopping through. I know you got to get an early night, but yeah, many blessings. We'll catch you soon. And
Definitely. We'll talk.
yep, definitely, man. Take care.
Take care, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, EJ was stopping through, gave out some grades to the starters as well. Appreciate him for everything he does for the program. And let's get it. We'll continue this opportunity to chop up the Knicks' big win. Made a statement tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I'm still hyped for this. And Friday night Knicks, early morning. Salute to the chat. Everyone out here is buzzing. Smash that like button. And yeah, there's plenty to talk about. The bench tonight. The bench did their thing tonight, and it was a big opportunity to show that this team, is a big 15. Let's be honest, fam. We don't really have a clear cut number one on this team. There's going to be nights when someone looks bad, the other guy looks good, and then reverse the following night. We just don't have that clear cut superstar on this team, and that's what kind of performances you're going to get. But Big 15, the bench stood up as well as many of the key starters, tonight. And tonight was another bounce back performance from Emmanuel Quickley as well. Got to give him his flowers. There was a lot of chatter about, IQ. Yeah, still some tunnel vision at times, still looking to get his shot off every single minute of the game. Unlimited, infinite green light is Emmanuel Quickley, the second coming of his idol, Lemon Pepper, Lou Will as well, an absolute spark plug off the bench. IQ 20 points, 7 rebounds though, excellent rebounding game, 7 assists. So complete all-round game from IQ. Got to give him his flowers, fam. Yep, got to give him his flowers tonight. IQ came to play. He delivered off the bench, right? And I'm happy about that, fam. I'm happy about it. Yeah, Emmanuel Quickley. So in terms of the minutes he played, 27 minutes, 8 of 14, 3 of 8 from the 3-point land. um, was a plus 27, the highest team plus, you know, with his 20 points. Well, so stand up, Emmanuel Quickley. He's got to get an A plus for me tonight, fam. What do you guys give for IQ tonight? Great bounce back game. Um, yep, with that thing, and yeah, really really happy for IQ tonight. He plays well at home. Let's be real. He loves the home cooking. Does IQ, and yeah, he's going to be a big key this season as well in his role. Um, there's a lot of talk about IQ. Before we got Brunson, there was talk about could IQ get the starting job as well. He's still clearly not ready to be, a good starting point guard for any team. Well, he's still growing into a role. It's going to be a big year in terms of like contractually for IQ, and great to get off the board tonight. Great game, a true IQ game. Tonight scored well efficiently. Had some great assists. Well, passed up a few looks as well. Tom Thibodeau was not pleased. IQ passed up that open shot as well. I was surprised. Well, but sometimes that connection, though, if I'm being a little nitpicky, IQ's connection with Obi was a little bit too forced tonight. You guys all saw it tonight. Sometimes Obi did have a man on him and he was still looking to throw Obi the lob. Well, get that lob, Gotham, lob city happening. Sometimes you just got to calm down, just slow it down a little. IQ, well, he's not that floor general at the moment, but he's good for his role, right now, good for his role. His IQ, A plus, so yeah, for the first 2 games, chat fam, I've been giving out quite a few A's, you know? It just been different players. Like I said, we need some consistency. And look, for the Knicks to get 45 wins, we need consistency, this season. We can't be like one night, this dude's an A plus, I'm giving out my A's, and then the next night is a D, or the next night is a C. You know, we need consistency. Um, I'll tell you who I think I've been really impressed with, and who's been really consistent is obviously the Randalls of the world and the Jalen Brunsons of the world. Two of these teams' best player, leaders. RJ Barrett bounced back tonight, did bully Barrett as well, so he's on the board with a good grade tonight. RJ Barrett getting that home cooking as well. We know his fam juiced him up, boosted him up. Right, tonight was a big night for RJ, and he delivered as well. So, yep, a salute to you guys. You're rocking out. Appreciate you all. Best chat in the biz. And Gerard gives IQ a B tonight. Yep, on point with Geraldine in sync. Another B. Yep. Okay. Yep. Dirty says Guy was plus 27, 18, 7 and 7, and we give him a B with that. So differing opinions. We all see different things. Um, Keith also hits. We got a number 1 in Brunson, right? Yep, he is our number 1. Yep, that's no lies, facts, right? Randall can be the 2, the 3, the 4 option on any given night. Well, that's what makes this team really dangerous. Still, for me, fam, we can be really dangerous. The defense can't really key on a certain dude. I guess, if I'm leading the scouting report for a team playing the Knicks, my number 1 aim is to slow down Jalen Brunson. Um, he's our engine. If the team can try to slow down Jalen Brunson, they may have a chance to beat us. But if Jalen Brunson can do whatever he likes on the court, he'll make other players better, and also he'll get his. So yeah, Jalen Brunson's been the key, number 1 for me as well, fam. Yep. IQ been a chucker, or is a chucker. Gerard says he's mostly looking for his own. That's his role for now. Like, certainly if he's doing that as the starting point guard, it's annoying. But in his role, I think he needs to come in and look for his shot. He needs to obviously, look for his teammates a lot more. But with Derrick Rose, running the point, I think IQ needs to try to look for his shot as well. But don't forget, fam, we're second game in. There's plenty of rust. Well, I want to see IQ being efficient. That's the main thing. Yep, Luke gives out an A plus for IQ. Excellent help on the defense, especially on the switch. Yep. So you got to give IQ his flowers, fam, in terms of the defensive side. Yep. With that situation. Yep. The heart of the man of RJ Barrett, Tariq, salute. Yep, you can't underestimate that. Yep, definitely. There's going to be highs, there's going to be lows. These players are still young. IQ, I don't need to ring out the ages because you guys know. But RJ, IQ, Obi, these guys are going to be inconsistent. They're still young. They're still young. Well, we can't expect LeBron James type performances from these players, as well. What we do want to see is consistency, right? We don't want to see falling off a cliff, you know, king one night, falling off the cliff the next night, kind of thing. We need that leveled off, sort of thing. But it's been 2 games, solid performances in terms of like for over 4 quarters. We only didn't really play 1 quarter against Memphis. That was the second quarter, and tonight we pretty much played 4 quarters as well. So 7 out of 8 quarters we've been look pretty solid so far. So yeah, that's the kind of consistency I'm looking for with that. Now, for anyone that just jumped through, we gave Randall an A plus. We gave RJ I gave RJ a B tonight. Jalen Brunson, I gave him an A as well. Mitchell Robinson, I gave him a C plus, I believe. So Kaiser gives RJ an A, Quickly a B, Cam a C, Obi B, Randall C, Brunson an A. Yeah. Yeah. Tariq, it's only game 2. There's an adjustment, right? Say that again. There's an adjustment for real, right? When you transition from preseason to live bullets, only 2 games. Yep. With that situation, fans got big expectations, fam. I think there is expectations this season. If the Knicks fall short of 40 wins, Tom Thibodeau could be on the clock. I think just because of expectations. Now, missing the play in last season, fam. I think the fan base definitely feels this team is worthy of play in playoffs. Well, but I guess some fans get more mad and when there's inconsistency, that kind of thing. Well, and your weaknesses are still the same weaknesses. You need to show some improvement. Tonight. Um, Not flying off the end tonight because Detroit's Detroit. Man, did they stink it up shooting wise. There was throwing brick after brick after brick, especially from the line. Was Diallo. Man, Diallo was shooting rainbow free throw shots that was falling short of the rim. Well, but the Garden crowd was, treated to a great performance tonight. Salute to everyone in the building. It was lit. Intros were lit. I loved it. The Nick City Dancers new look as well had me jiving, and it was a good look out there tonight. The Garden, like I said to EJ, it's going to be popping this season. Make no mistake. The big battles against Brooklyn, against Philly, Milwaukee, Miami, that the Dallas, the Utahs, those battles are going to be huge. Atlanta as well. We got some big game players, ladies and gentlemen. Big game players that leave it all out there. Jalen Brunson, man, willing to throw his body on the line, jump in front of a freight train. You know, Mitchell Robinson, Obi, ready to throw down as well. Hartenstein, ready to die out there on the court as well. Man, he's going to be quickly a fan favorite. Is Isaiah Hartenstein, man? If he ain't already, that dude, that dude's going to get into some tussles this season. Make no mistake, man. He could be our punk this season. What do you guys think with that? We need an enforcer kind of dude. Maybe not a punk, but an enforcer kind of dude. Isaiah Hartenstein's gonna juice up the crowd. He's gonna get in people's face. Well, he's gonna make it, uncomfortable for different people. Well, yeah, I love the buzz coming through from the chat as well. You guys are lit. Streets is buzzing. Smash that like button, and we'll give out some grades to the bench. IQ, like I said, solid performance tonight. Obi, 21 minutes as well. Found a way to get minutes up. 7 of 12, shot 2 of 5. Love it. Love that from Obi hitting the 3 ball. A lot of them were open, but he did not hesitate. Obi, got to give him his flowers. Plus 25 tonight. 16 points. So Obi Toppin's thriving at the moment. Bounce back tonight. Give him his flowers, man. B plus for Ob tonight. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi Hive, stand up. Well, did what he needed to do, really got on a beautiful connection with IQ, tipped the ball back out, getting some offensive boards, some hustle. Well, changing the game when he doesn't have the ball. That's the biggest thing I love about Obi. When he does not have the ball, he still impacts his team and impacts winning. His IQ, man. 21 minutes, man, 16 points, ringing it up, fam. Well, 3 assists from your power forward. As well, power forward that can shoot 2 or 5. As well, pop the 3 ball tonight. Good performance from Obi. Yep, tonight. Pleased with him. Yep, B plus, fam. Yep. Let's hit on Cam Reddish. Cam, the man that was the man after game 1 tonight. Not as electric in terms of that, but had minimal opportunities. Had his moments though. I think good to get his first game out the way at home. Cam Reddish tonight got 19 minutes in. I was 3 of 8. Bricked his 2 threes as well. So his 3-point shots looking a bit funky still, a bit flat. But Reddish had 4 rebounds. He had 2 turnovers, plus 12, 6 points. Well, so Cam, he does get freezed out of the offense a little, I will say, playing with the bench. Quickly is that dude looking to score as well. Reddish only really sees opportunities, from dribble handoff, secondary action. Really, he's not really that focal point of the offense. Is Cam. Well, but he's still adjusting, like Tariq says. There's an adjustment, fam. I'm not overreacting to game 1. I'm not underreacting to tonight. We need to see a trend with Cam. He's here to stay. You know, Quentin Grimes is still injured. Well, Cam Reddish still going to get that chance, off the bench. Yep. Dirty says IQ plays like that every night. He might get Jordan Poole money as well with that. Yep. Be civilized. Salute. What's good, fam? This was a great cherry popper for JB and crew at the Mecca. Let's go. Knicks keep protecting home, right? Facts. Appreciate you. Let's get it. Kaiser, not feeling IQ deserves the A tonight. Yeah, he did miss a few reads as well, but yeah, in terms of his impact on the game tonight and winning, yeah, I think it was exceptional tonight in his impact with winning. Yeah, he's definitely got some flaws, that he needs to clean up. I'm just sort of judging on him as his role to come in and help, ring the score up as well. But yeah, with that situation with Cam Reddish tonight, not going to get on him really. 19 minutes, you know, wasn't standout, but just did what he needed to do as well. The 3-point shot, that's the biggest concern for me. And I feel like something that would get him a lot more minutes if he's more consistent at that. Let's think about that. Tom Thibodeau loves the 3-point shooting. If Obi's hitting the 3 ball, which he has been a bit, he's getting more minutes. If Cam Reddish can continue to shoot better from 3, he might see some more minutes as well. Because we know what Quentin Grimes, is going to give us with that, fam. So yeah, next Hartenstein, and we'll look at D Rose. So Isaiah Hartenstein, I hit on him, man. He's becoming a fan favorite, an enforcer for this team, an energizer bunny with that bench unit. Well, cannot state his impact enough. He's given us everything Nerlens Noel would give us and more. Basically, 21 minutes, 2 of 4, 1 of 2 from 3, 7 rebounds, 4 of them offensively, 4 offensive rebounds. Huge. 11 total. Got into some foul trouble. That's his clear weakness. But, if he's only expected to play 20 minutes, that's cool. I'm cool with that. 6 points as well, but clearly impacted the game tonight. Plus 21. Clearly impacted winning. Does Isaiah with that? I'm loving the minutes he's getting as well. He's really having an impact. Isaiah's a dude that can play with the starting unit as well. I think effortlessly he fits in with all units. A center that can score, can pass, can rebound, can block some, sets good screens as well, can roll, just a live body as well. Great pickup so far, from what I'm seeing. from Isaiah, for $8 million. Excellent pickup so far. Excellent pickup. Give Isaiah tonight. I'll give him a B tonight. I think that's solid for Isaiah, and I'm looking for this to continue. I mentioned which players have impressed me. He's included in that, for his consistency. He's not really been a dude that's given a good performance and then fallen off planet Earth. He's given you consistent performance as well. So salute to Isaiah for that. And I'm looking for that to continue, man, in these big games, man. He's going to produce tonight. With that, Derrick Rose probably played the most minutes he's played so far. 16 minutes, was efficient. D Rose tonight, 4 of 6, 3 of 4 from 3-point land was D Rose hitting that 3 ball. Well, 2 of 2 from the line, 3 rebounds. Well, salute to him. 6 assists tonight, plus 23. Excellent performance, D Rose. Stand up. The D Rose, the real D Rose, stood up tonight. 13 points in 16 minutes as well. Calming influence, and it's no coincidence, fam, that Emmanuel Quickley seems to have his best games when Derrick Rose is also thriving. Fam, what do you guys think about that? When D Rose is thriving, it usually means IQ's thriving as well. It's a handful for the dudes off the bench. Yeah, like Dirty hits on too. Tibbs not overusing Rose is one of the biggest positives to date. He's showing self-control. Right? Impressive, yep. Couldn't agree more, fam. Oh, I said this, I was surprised after preseason how little D Rose was playing, and Tibbs is easing him in. Fam, yep. You hit with that. Tonight I'll get to give D Rose an A, right? Another A tonight for Rose. Stand up. Chicago's finest. Tariq, I like Hart. I'm glad we got him, but boy, he frustrates me with those butter hands at times. Yep, there's going to be that. Yep, fam. There's going to be those frustrations, I think, with a player that's a role player, not a complete player as well. But yeah, not athletically gifted or gifted offensively, but just solid, man. Just an upgrade to Randle as well. But yeah, to Rose and Dirty's point, 16 minutes. I mean, that's kind of like the sweet spot. 16, 25 minutes between there for D Rose, with 25 minutes on the longer end if the game's going down to the wire, and let's say D Rose is closing it out for us to try to help us get the win. But yeah, that's keeping him fresh. It's keeping him healthy. It's keeping him, ready to take on that ball handling duty as well for this team. D Rose stand up. Tom Thibodeau stand up. Well, so far doing a great job, easing him in. I like Cam length and size. He needs to improve his shot selection, but I want him playing with confidence. Yep. Yeah, you mentioned that point with Cam, and I mentioned the missing with the bad 3-point bricks. I think, yeah, Cam's still got to take open shots as well. Otherwise, the coach will bench him too. So I just don't want Cam forcing nothing. Play within the flow, and I think Cam will look real smooth. Yep, silky smooth. With that, Cam will be rotational piece. Real evaluators of talent knows what he is and what he will be, not be a superstar. Superstars enter the NBA as superstars. Yep, definitely agree with that. D Rose is the one vet I will not trade, CT, not for a stinking late first rounder. Remember, I said it, right? Yep. You've been consistent with that. Definitely. Maybe D Rose is also cool with staying in New York, man. Finishing out his career, I think, with the New York Knicks. Yeah, and with that said, I think Tom Thibodeau, will be the most pleased dude in the house with that. Big game player, it. If the Knicks have intentions to play deep playoff runs, meaningful games down the stretch, then say no more. D Rose is that kind of dude that makes everybody better. Look at the bench tonight. The bench stood up. D Rose stood up. Like I said, Obi had a decent piece quickly. Also because of Derrick Rose, he just controlled it out there as well. But with that said, Detroit's a weaker opponent as well. So I'm looking to see this against great opponents as well. Yep, fam. Hart controls the boards on both ends. Yep, we are lucky to have him. Yep, energizer, dude. Yeah, and even if he doesn't get the board, he makes it so difficult for the other players. Big man, they have to scratch, claw, take a hit, take a shot, just to get that rebound because Isaiah is going to be there pushing you. Well, in the back of your mind, there's always that dude that might put an elbow, in the back of your head to make you think twice about it. Well, that's what I mean about the Knicks needing that tough guy, that enforcer as well. We don't really have no one outside of that. Randall tries to be that sometimes, but then he blows a gasket sometimes down the stretch. Well, another thing I'm looking to see Randall, show that maturity and bounce back from that. When the going gets tough, the tough get going sometimes. And we're going to see some battles. Like I said, Brooklyn, Philly, Christmas Day, going in hostile environments on the West Coast. Well, Jalen Brunson just been amazing for this team, so far. Yeah, Cam playing for that contract year as well. So he's definitely, got to be trying to look for his shot, all that, fam, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, IQ's back. New Yorkers in the house. Salute. IQ's back tonight. Yep. 2 games in, you would expect every player on the Knicks roster to have a feel-good moment so far. Otherwise, it'd be disappointing. Tonight was RJ's bounce back. It was IQ's bounce back, Rose as well. And it was the continuation of Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, Mitchell Robinson playing decent ball. Yeah, better than decent for most of them. Um, but with that said, we played a really tough opponent, top seeded a West team with Memphis, and a team in the East that's projected to be down below. So I want to start seeing some even competition. And with that, I've been following some of these results around the league. Washington got a nice big win tonight. That's going to be a big test, for the Knicks. We took care of them in preseason, but they had some injuries. The Knicks got to take care of Eastern teams, and we got to take care of home tonight. Tonight was pleasing that we led wire to wire, no injuries, get unscathed. Well, salute everyone. Sort of got their shine tonight from Svi Mikhailuk hitting that 3 ball, Deuce getting some minutes. With that said, yeah, so giving out some grades tonight. Your pleasing element was the fact that we actually were challenged a little bit. They got it down to 12, and then the bench just put their foot on the gas as well. So, yeah, pleasing performance so far. 1-1. The New York Knicks are on the board for 2022-23 season. We hear New York Knicks fan base stand up. I continue to say it's going to be a fun season. We have a point guard. We get to see solid offense. He's gritty on the defensive end as well. I really want to give Jalen Brunson his flowers defensively too, because he's not looked like no liability out there as well. He might be only 6'1", 6'2", but he's tough. He's rough. He's built for New York. Well, he tries to fight over picks as well. That's what I love to see. A player just fight, scratch, claw, make it difficult. He's going to rise to the challenge this season of leading this team. Jalen Brunson, if his shot's not falling, he's going to impact the game in other ways. How many charges has Jalen Brunson taken, right? He's probably taken 3, 4, 5, 6 charges in 2 games, fam. Luke, salute. I would like to see more creativity with the offense too, yeah. There's definitely some weapons, and I think as players get more comfortable, fam, I think the playbook will expand with that, fam. Usually teams try to start the season with maybe 5 to 10 sets, and then they expand on the playbook, coming in. We got some weapons, like I mentioned, Isaiah, the backdoor plays. I love those bounce pass. Cam, I love to see Cam run off some screens and get downhill. That's his strength. Jalen Brunson, pick and roll, pick and pop as well. There's actually a lot of different things we could see that had me looking forward to that. Like you said, fam. Yep. Kaiser wants to see also more off-ball movement. Yep. Setting screens, cuts. Well, yep. Too many standing in the one spot. when players have not got the ball, right? Yeah, that's another situation I think with players wanting to get their touches, and wanting to show out early on. I think once the nerves have settled, the Knicks are now on the board as well. So I think yeah, players should look more fluid. Hopefully, ball movement improves. With that said, but yeah, there's going to be some challenges, coming up. Facts, right? Yep. Loving this interaction, this convo. Let's keep it buzzing. Smash that like button because we here. It's going to be fun. You already know what it is. We'll be doing more post games after every game. Guests coming through as well. Guest panels, etc. It's going to be fun season with this. I'm expecting 45 wins for this team as well as we include these new pieces. We get acclimated as well. Tom Thibodeau's really impressed me so far. I'll give Tom Thibodeau his grade for tonight. He left the starters in pretty late to try to finish the game out. He called timeouts at the right times. Did Tom Thibodeau again. I felt like he called the right timeouts. Just a solid performance. Kept most players' minutes down. Did Tom Thibodeau, easing Derrick Rose back in. Well, looks like Jalen Brunson, is his leader on the court, responding to him. Well, not too animated, so Tom Thibodeau so far is doing a good job, pushing the right buttons. Um, Obviously, offensively, we can improve. We don't have a coordinator still, but Tibbs tonight, I'll give him a B plus. Yep, B plus tonight, led wire to wire. So salute, right? Everyone played great. New Yorker, salute. Tariq, proud of these Knicks, right? Yep, great use of word proud. Yep, this is a team that the Knicks fan base can get behind. Blue collar, some blue collar dudes, not the most talented, not the most gifted, skillfully, athletically, but just a team that you can root for. Yep. Until we land that big star, big fish, dudes on the rise, dudes trying to repair their name. Well, so far, and I'm including preseason along with what I've seen in 2 regular games. Well, but so far, you got to be proud of that, situation. Um, you score 130 and win by 25 plus. It's a good night. Hopefully, we keep improving game by game. Yep. E. Gibson, great point. Game by game, I like that. You know, you can't expect to look like mid-season form in game 2. There's acclimation to happen and stuff. But we've had 1 game on the road and 1 game at home, fam. So yeah, let's see us settle into a groove. When I mention groove, I mean winning at home. We got 2 more at home. Let's take care of biz, fam. New York Knicks stand up. Solid start to the season, right? As we look ahead to the next games, next game, fam, is at home against the Orlando Magic and then the Charlotte Hornets. Fam, let's get it. Yep. Monday night at MSG against the Magic. Yep. Wednesday at MSG against the Hornets. Well, so not trying to get ahead of myself, but there are 2 games that you got to win. You got to take care of home, and then you're at Milwaukee, you're at Cleveland after that, and then you come back home for the Hawks as well, and then you're at a Philly as well. Then you're at Philly after that, man, and then the Celtics after that. So, man, does it hit hard? The Knicks do need to put the beat down on the Orlando Magic and the Hornets. Well, because the games come thick and fast, man. After that, well, if the Knicks can get out to a 3-1 start, that keeps a solid base. You always want to try to keep your head above water and keep a game or 2 above 500 for when these tough games start to come up. Fam. Yeah, putting RJ back in up 25 was the only time I smacked my forehead. Yeah, that was a little amusing, definitely, fam. I think Tibbs he's not messing around, fam. He wants that dub. um, with that. But like I said, obviously minutes were all down across the board. He probably felt RJ start of the season, man. He's super fresh. 28 minutes. 8 of whatever he had tonight, 8 of 15 tonight. was in the flow, in the rhythm, get his confidence up, get him shooting more, basically. Yep. After tonight, I will not bag on Cam any longer. It's low-hanging fruit, yeah, and self-evident. Hope he proves me wrong. We all win. With that said, yep. Cam needs to learn, and he's learning how to play off ball. He's been that man through high school, coming through, always with the ball in his hands. It's an adjustment. I want to see him play to his strengths more, come off the screen, get downhill, kick it out. Don't force the shot at the hoop if there's traffic, and don't just pull up for a flat three, if a dude's in your face. Well, I think Cam can do better than that. And I think more minutes, more familiarity with this squad will do that. I think, you know, not wishing any injury on Grimes or anybody, but it's kind of could be a blessing for Cam in terms of like, Grimes may be able to take more rest. We ease Grimes back, give him a few more games off, get that foot or ankle fully right, and then Cam can we get a longer look, basically like at that situation. So yeah, the Knicks took care of home, took care of business tonight. The Garden was popping, but Jalen Brunson and Julius Randle, for me, been the most impressive. I mean, Brunson, I knew I would be saying this, but Julius, that's a big win for this ball club. 2 games in, who would have thought after a preseason and 2 games that most fan base would be impressed by Randle's adjustment? Well, I use that word adjustment because he's adjusting to Brunson, he's adjusting to the challenge from last season, as well. Um, Super impressed with the minutes being down low as well. 25 minutes. He was able to get Obi 21 minutes tonight. That's kind of that talk that fans were hoping for a more even split with that situation. Julius not being overworked helps him a ton. Fam, I can't state that enough, man. Helps him a lot with that. He stays fresh. He stays ready for the fourth quarter as well. Um, Another thing I'm impressed with, Julius hasn't been forcing shots as well. He could have easily come in trying to say, "Hey, man, I'm still this team's man. Let me hit the fadeaway baseline shot, the contested midi." But I've not been really seeing that from Julius too much. He's been willing to move the rock. He's been willing to choose better shots. With that situation, credit to Brunson as well for that. Keeping him calm, keeping him collected, all of that good stuff, ladies and gents, as well. So a better Randall means great things for the New York Knicks. Well, so excellent, excellent, excellent stand up. Just a big win tonight. Got on the board. Of course, we got to put the beat down on the Magic. We got to put the beat down on the Hornets situation. Paolo Banchero is looking legit, fam. Highlight plays, all of that comes in with that pedigree. He's going to come into the Garden, his first game there, to try to make a statement as well. So we got to stay ready. We've got to continue this good play consistently, take care of home, and then look at Charlotte, ladies and gentlemen. We could be looking at a 3-1 start to the season, which would be solid, heading into the tough matchups, against the Phillies, Atlantas, Milwaukee's, etc. as well. So yeah, loving the optimism and the reactions from the chat. Well, definitely more things to look forward to this season. Highlight plays, tough games. Well, point guard play. Jalen Brunson steals the show for me again. Not always a sexy stat line by any means, but his plays just in control. And I agree with the chat as well earlier. He has more gears to go. Um, this ain't peak Jalen Brunson, by any means, right? He's in second gear for me, basically. I still think there's 2, 3 more gears Brunson can go to, now that he's getting that warmed up. The pick and roll is looking promising, right, Luke? Yep, completely agree, fam. He's a tough body, tough to get around, right? Facts. Yep. Dirty says, I felt like the Magic beat us 3 times last year. Yeah, can't sleep on that. Absolutely, man. We took them lightly. We got punched in the mouth with that. They're better this year. Best believe that, man. Banchero. They still got talented guards as well. Wings, Franz Wagner doing great. Well, it's gonna be a challenge. Cam. Yep. Salute to Rick. Peace. Salute. Keep it real. See you on the next one. And yeah, the Knicks will be buzzing. We'll be here. We'll be buzzing. Smash that like button. Knicks Nation, we strong. And yeah, we're the most loyal fan base in the world. We deserve a good feel good season again after last season and the season before that. I think this organization needs to take steps, to build, which is what we're doing. I know some fans want us to make that big trade, for a star right now. Trade Julius, do this, do that. Um, we're in a situation where we need to just take each day as it comes, win some ball games, improve our young players, continue to grow. We got picks, we got flexibility. Well, so far the off-season moves are looking good. You know, Mitchell Robinson's contract looking nice. Jalen Brunson's contract, Hartenstein as well. Randall's play coming back changes a lot for this team, right? It changes a lot. Randall, triple dub watch. Luke, great point. Well, triple double. Julius Randle, it's going to come at one point. I think I put the over under for Julius Randle triple doubles this season at 2 or 3. Maybe the over under at 2, and I think you might be able to get 3 this season, playing under control, getting those assists up. Yep, look out, look out. Anyone who's still a diehard after we've all been through is good in a crazy way. Yep, crazy in a good way. Right? Yep, you said it, fam. Yep, we're still the biggest show in the NBA, the most valued franchise. Tonight the Garden looked lit, and it was against Detroit as well. Like imagine when Golden State come to town. Imagine when Atlanta and Philly's in town. Christmas Day. Talking about Jalen Brunson, RJ Barrett, Julius Randle, Christmas Day game balls. Well, Obi quickly lighting it off the bench with D Rose. It's going to be nice, man. It's going to be nice this season. Well, let's get it. Randall has to bully Banchero. If he lets Banchero run, he will get abused. Banchero, very athletic. Yep, definitely, fam. Yep. And if they want to let Banchero go off, maybe we try to neutralize everybody else. If Banchero gets 20, 25, 30, but we keep everyone, contained, then we might have our best chance to win still. But yeah, I think this could be our most solid test so far. Outside of Memphis, obviously, Memphis was a real test, but in terms of preseason and after tonight, definitely the Orlando Tragic aren't tragic no more. They're on the come up. They're building something with that. You know, yep. Drew, yep. Bankero's looking the bit. Looking the part, doing things, highlight slams. Well, getting into a groove tonight. Quick thoughts on Jaden Ivey tonight. Big storyline. Jaden Ivey looked okay. He looked like a dude finding his way. Had his flashy plays, driving to the bucket, slamming it down. Then he had his folly. Turning the ball over, shooting bad threes as well. Not a 3-point shooter yet. So that, like we know, the scouting report on Jaden Ivey is legit. He's not a 3-point shooter yet, but he tries to keep the defense honest. Otherwise, they'll just sag off. They'll sag off. So he has to shoot it. His strength's getting to the cup. So, Ivy trying to work through things look pretty solid so far as well. He's going to get a ton of usage. He's going to get coached up well from Dwayne Casey. He's Ivy. I'm looking for him to have a fast finish towards the end of this season. Well, but he wasn't electric. He wasn't really impressive tonight. Just he was okay. I think was Ivy. What were your thoughts on Ivy, fam? Yep, so far so good. Killer Dogs, salute. Yep. Randall can bully him with the grown man strength. Yep, agree. And his experience. With that, he needs to give him a welcome to the league moment. Well, we can't let these young studs come into the league and dominate at home at MSG. No, no, no. Right. Like I said, we need to make statements with this fam, and that we will. Right. So yeah, chat, stand up. The streets are buzzing. Smash that like button. We here, 1-1, heading into two very, very winnable games. Well, there's been some very pleasing things from this squad. Well, a lot of things we can improve on as well. A lot of things we can be great at this season as well. I could see us being great defensively. We just need to clean up some things. I could see us being solid offensively as we get more familiarity, with one another as well. Yep. And until then, as we get ready to wind up tonight, we gave out our grades. We salute the Knicks for putting the beat down on Detroit. Got to win these games that you're expected to win. Well, in good fashion, well led wire to wire. This game could have got sticky. It could have got a bit muddy, but the Knicks took care of business. I think Detroit got it down to within 12, but that was it. They've got talent, and this squad's going to be a problem in a few years' time. But the Knicks are on to better things. We're looking to be a playoff play-in team this season, and these are the teams that we need to put the beat down on as well. Scoring 130 tonight. Feel good moments from the bench mob. Dudes getting some minutes. Mikhailuk, McBride, situationals getting their first taste of the season now. Well, so the rust is off for everybody. The real games begin. I'm looking at these Orlando Hornets games as a good test. A good test barometer to see where this squad is at. I think they're going to be a good test. Still at MSG, and a great chance for this team to build some home cooking. Build that chemistry. With that said, so yeah, we'll get it on the next one. Been a great show, chopping this thing up. Go New York, go. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.